All right, guys, so tutorial number one, you are just going to log into aweber.com. All right, this tutorial is all about setting up your email marketing system. So we know it's that thing that makes our life so much easier, allows you to build relationships with your customers or your potential clients or potential customers. All right, so look, I am logged in. It's logged me in automatically. And I am looking at one of my Aweber accounts right here. Okay, so it is actually loading. When you first log in for the very first time, you are actually going to see something on the left hand side where it asks you for your username and your password. And it's kind of just that simple. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this box up just a little bit. And you guys can see this is what your screen is going to look like. All right, so let's go over setting up your very first list. All right, so I'm just going to click this button that says Manage List. And when you first set up your very first list, you're going to see zero. You're not going to have any list set up. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to say create a list. Okay, now this screen is going to load, and what you're going to do is set up basic information. All right, and so it's telling you exactly what to do. Tell them about yourself. Now I'm going to fill this in and pretend that some of our stuff is not already filled in. Okay, so you can go ahead and put your company name in this area. It can be your name if you'd like. So if I was Joe Smith, it could be Joe Smith. Okay, and that's just going to be a placeholder in that area so it knows who is setting up this list. Your company name, it could be http:// joesmith.com. Okay, so there we go. That actually does exist. So it's giving me the check mark that that's a valid URL. And it's going to ask you what address you would like to include at the bottom of your emails. Really simple. Just put the address. If you have a business address, if you have probably not your home address, you don't want to use that, but most likely you have some type of business address that you're going to want to use. And I think you could probably use a PO box, not quite sure. But that's really self-explanatory right there. You're going to want to fill out this bottom information, really simple. What sender email, name, and email address should appear with your emails. And so what that really means is when the person gets your email, what do you want to show up? In our case, we have team transformation because that's what we want people to identify our emails as. But if you wanted to just say Joe Smith, you would just change that to Joe Smith, okay? And you're not going to capitalize Smith like I just did. There we go, Joe Smith. And if you want it to come from Joe Smith at Gmail, you can put that down. I will tell you right here that the system may warn you against using a Gmail account, but I'll tell you that you can kind of ignore that. It's pretty easy if you're using Gmail right now. If you don't have like a joesmith.com email address already set up, use your Gmail, like your Yahoo or whatever you have available to you right now. Use that. All right, then you're going to just click next step. Okay, yay. Let's create our list. It's telling us that we're moving on to the next step, and it's asking us what we want to name our list. Okay, so we want to name this list. Let's name this list motivational quotes and biz tips. Okay, let's say I'm a motivational speaker and I'm giving people business advice and keeping them motivated. All right, and then down here it's going to say briefly describe the emails that your subscribers are going to receive. All right, and they give you an example right there: healthy low-fat recipes for every budget sent weekly. So something like that. Motivational quotes sent daily to keep you going and happy. I don't know. Be creative, make up something on your own. Next step, approve your confirmation message. We'll talk about this in just a second, but basically this is telling you or asking you if you want to send a confirmation message to the people getting your email before they actually accept your first email. I'll explain that again a little bit later, but just go through this process. I usually turn confirmations off. That way everybody gets the email. So go down here, read it yourself, but pretty much just hit approve message and create list. And I'll explain that a little bit later. And there we go. That message is actually created. Okay, so let's move on to part two.